following podcast is a TJ DeSantis production. Comments, questions, and inquiries can be sent to DeSantisProd@gmail.com.
It's time!
With Bruce Buffer. And now, it's time for the voice of mixed martial arts.
We are live!
It's Bruce Buffer. Bruce Buffer.
From the shores of Malibu where the waves are pumping, to the Great Wall of China and back to the streets of Kansas City, Missouri, where the UFC is coming. We are live. This is It's Time Radio. This is the show where we talk about what you think about, but may be afraid to voice. Do not worry. We will voice it for you. We talk about everything on It's Time. UFC, sports, sex, drugs, rock and roll, current events, everything happening in the world, politics, you name it, we talk about it. And we have a very special show today, as we always have, but every show is a new show and a new experience, and we are going to experiencing something new today. We have TJ DeSantis, my co-host. We also have a beautiful tall glass of water. From the Amazon moon, is that where it is? The 6-foot beauty. We have her here, Alison Tyler. Hi, Alison. How are you?
Hi, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Love to have you on. We're going to go into a lot about you. We're going to open up the show and share the show with you. I'd like you to stay with us for the whole show. Is that okay?
All right. Yeah, sounds great.
So if you don't mind, we're just going to segue into a couple little items here. And,
Okay.
and feel free to join in anytime you want.
Oh,
okay?
awesome. Sounds good.
So first off, I'd like to thank the Gas Digital Network, where we have our shows streaming on video. For those of you that wish to subscribe to GasDigitalNetwork.com, check it out. Also, Michael Bisbing's podcast is there and many others. A lot of great shows to listen to, so check out GasDigitalNetwork.com. First off, one thing we always like to talk about, actually I don't like to talk about, but I have to talk about it, is the passing of people that we know and love and have been entertained by for many, many years, amongst others. And I'm sorry to say the passing of one of the greatest comics that I've ever witnessed and actually seen live in his shows. The great Don Rickles passed away last week.
Yeah. I heard that he was working on a reality show that they had shot like season 1 already. But I don't know if they're going to release it now or what it does. The thing that affects me the most, and this is like the number one indicator that I'm a dad, is he was the voice of Mr. Potato Head in Toy Story. And Toy Story 4 is in production, and I guess they had lines for Rickles as Mr. Potato Head, but he didn't get to voice any before he passed. So they're going to have to do some changing to that story and scene work and whatnot.
Well, you know, when you talk about Don Rickles, he's done a lot in his career. He made movies. He's been around for a very long time, nonstop, never stopped working. I had the chance to see him back in the early 70s.
Wow.
And I saw his stand-up comic act, and I've talked about this on the show before. I used to go to Las Vegas with my dad, who was considered the, quote, boss gambler, you know, back then. And we would go to the Riviera Hotel, which is where they filmed the movie Casino, and was one of the hottest, if not the hottest hotel in Las Vegas. And in those days, certain people other than the bean counters ran Las Vegas, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So all my dad had to do was look at a pit boss and say, you know, my boys want to go see Don Rickles, and boom, we're sitting first row.
Oh,
right?
man, that's awesome.
My brother and I are 18 and 20. We're drinking champagne.
Loving it.
You know, we're loving it. We're having a great time. And he was just hilarious. He would poke fun at everybody, but he was known to be a sweetheart of a man with a huge heart. So my best wishes and condolences go out to the family and loved ones of Don Rickles, and thank you for all the entertainment you gave us over the years. Also, thank you, Buffalo, New York. Heck of a show, interesting show in many ways.
Interesting to say the least.
Say the least.
My goodness.
We've had 3 shows in New York, and I love working with the New York Commission.
Yeah.
But so far, we've had something happen in almost every show. Of course, MSG, what happened there, and now the thing in Buffalo. I'm not going to go into a lot of it. Everybody's been reading about it, but with the Chris Weidman fight,
it's still developing. That's what's crazy to me.
Crazy.
Like, so yesterday we found out that replay is implemented in the state of New York. We thought that New York didn't have
I did
replay.
not know that.
Yeah, so that changes everything in what Dan Mergliotta did with Big John McCarthy cage side, which makes me feel better a lot about the whole situation, because if replay isn't implemented in the state of New York,
right,
John McCarthy is also in the wrong, telling Dan Mergliotta what he saw and influencing Mergliotta. But John doesn't make mistakes like that generally. He doesn't screw up like that.
No.
So now that we know that replay was, in fact, adopted and ratified to their unified rules, then it makes a lot more sense. But to me, bottom line, All this stuff needs to be posted. The unified rules are on UFC's website, but it's different from state to state to state. And obviously you have a guest here that don't want to talk too much about rules, but the bottom line for me is if you're going to go ahead and go from state to state where rules are different, those states should at least make their unified rules available online so the fighters, commentators, cornermen, everybody involved can take a look at those rules and see what is actually in fair play.
This is an example. One in the old days, and there's going to be a little bit of UFC talk here. In the old days, John McCarthy, who was the referee for every show.
Yeah.
When we used to go to the show, we would have the fighters meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and they still have fighters meetings. But I always loved watching John McCarthy tell the rules. He went through everything, and I guarantee you, if he still did that,
well, he may still, because the referees, the referees generally still do rule discussion. The rules meeting.
John's rules meetings, and I don't know how they are today. I actually should go to one to see what it's like compared to what it used to be. But McCarthy is so detailed on everything.
Sure.
And it's like you knew exactly what to do.
No, I've watched him do a rules meeting at Invicta because he's been the official there and he's ran the rule meeting there.
Okay, then it's working.
Yeah, but I mean,
but it's not working.
I mean, I don't know. It's baby steps. New York is still new. The inspectors were a lot to blame for a lot of that stuff too. But now, I don't even know. I don't even know what is right and what is wrong at this point because everything has changed and it changes from day to day.
Like our sport, which is basically 23 years old, New York is basically less than a year old, the commission, and the work with MMA. Experience pays off in the long run.
But, it goes back to, and I'm sorry, we're harshing on it when you're here. I apologize.
I don't mind at all.
It's called interview foreplay.
Yeah.
The towel incident with Dan Cormier.
I got one thing about that.
Sure.
Here's what I want to say about that.
Uh-huh.
If you get on the scale and you're not dressed or you have your undies on or whatever, personally, I don't care what you do. I don't care if you put your hands up in the air and blow all your air out, which is another trick, or you do. I never heard of the towel trick personally, but you're on the scale. If you weigh in, you weigh in. That's just my own feeling. I mean, how can you? I'm so confused how that's cheating. If your whole body is standing on the scale,
because
if you put your hands like this or like
easy,
this,
Bruce, it's
explain
common.
to me.
It's physics because two people are holding the towel taut. So if he pushes on the towel, even just a little bit, that weight is now being held in the towel by the two people that are standing side by side.
Thank you for clearing that up.
Yes,
I thought he's pushing.
No.
Oh, it was this. I wasn't there this weekend.
No, two people were holding the towel, and Cormier put his hands on the towel. Now, here's my thing. What's the old saying? If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
I heard that.
I'm not mad at Daniel Cormier for putting his hands on the towel because someone there. I mean, there's checks and balances in life. Mm-hmm. Someone should have said, "Hey, take your hand off the towel." Just like for Chris Weidman, people are saying, "Oh, well, Weidman was milking it," quote unquote. That's veteran savvy and gamesmanship. I'm not saying that he was in fact milking it, but the putting the hands on the towel for Daniel Cormier and also Chris Weidman not knowing what day it is, even if he wasn't concussed and was fine, that's not a sign of character. That's a sign of gamesmanship and veteran savvy.
The last thing I want to say, and I want to get to our beautiful guest here, is that on the Chris Weidman fight, with his 5 minutes that he had for the break, I do not know if it was shown on TV, but at the end, when the inspector walked back in, when the doctor walked back in, he had Chris stand up. He had Chris close his eyes. He had Chris lift one leg, and Chris wobbled. Okay? And he had him do it a couple times.
Sure.
I don't know whether that was the telltale fact, because it was right after that it was this. Okay? So he was on his knees for 4.5 minutes or whatever.
No.
How long was it until finally he fell down?
He had okay, so here's my problem. And we're going to go all day if we stick on this. So it's the last thing I want to say.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how long he was down, how anything like that. First off, Chris Weidman wasn't afforded 5 minutes. It was a legal blow, which was deemed by the replay, which we now know is in play.
Right.
So literally, as long as the doctor can clear Weidman, they should go back to the same position because Mergliata made a mistake. But if we're treating it as an illegal foul, which I think you have to do because Mergliata stepped in because he felt that he saw something that was illegal, take the replay out of it. You have to act upon it as an illegal blow. If an illegal blow is sustained to a fighter, the fighter has to be checked by the doctor. The doctor has no more than 5 minutes to deem whether he's not
to assess the situation.
Right. Weidman does not have 5 minutes. Mergliata was saying, "Oh, you got 3.5 minutes in." No, Chris has no time.
Okay.
That's to the doctor.
I always watch every show when I get home. I've not
Right.
had a chance to watch it. I'm so busy.
Well,
Plus, I had a horrific airline experience this weekend, which
You
we'll go
told
into
me,
later.
yeah. I mean, even if you watch the show, you're not going to have a good idea on what is happening or what should have happened.
I can weigh what I watched with what I saw when I was there. That's how I
Yeah, but at this point, it's just pure pandemonium and chaos, and everyone needs to. I mean, all I ask, we put so much stock into referees. Referees basically worrying about, is he taking too much damage? Intelligent defense, judgment calls there. We need to actually worry. The thing that I think we need to worry about most importantly is protocol and the referees and officials and inspectors understanding what is supposed to happen in certain situations, especially the odd situations like this, because this really hasn't happened in 15 years of me covering mixed martial arts.
It hasn't.
But
again,
you need to know. You need to know.
Experience will pay off. I just want to end this one topic with the fact that I thoroughly enjoy working with the New York State Athletic Commission.
Sure.
Very fine group of people.
They're
And
learning too, right?
Everybody learned.
Yeah.
I remember when we were learning in 2000, I remember when we were learning in 1996.
Right.
It's a learning curve, and now New York Commission and New York State has legalized MMA, and we're going to go through certain things. So
Yeah.
we're going through it, and onward to the next.
We have a lovely lady in studio. Let's
Yeah,
stop
we
talking
do.
about naked dudes in
Oh,
the
I don't
cage.
mind. I like naked dudes.
Half naked guys again. Don't get too excited.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special guest from the adult film industry. Hi, Allison. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Thank you very much. I'm fine. We have the beautiful Alison Tyler here. Alison is not only just a star in the adult film industry, porn star, however you like to refer to it,
Star or starlet?
but
Can we just say
Alison,
star?
I like Star. Starlet makes me sound so young.
yeah.
Like a baby.
But you are young.
Baby star.
You are young. You're only in your 20s, right?
Isn't that a
I'm
compliment? to a woman?
27. Yeah.
27.
Oh, jeez.
So I want to thank our favorite site for news, socialunderground.com. Its owner, Gary Randall, who arranged for you to come on the show.
Yeah.
You wrote an article for them.
I did.
Which sparked my interest
I
because
did.
we've had adult film industry stars on in the past. One of
Mm-hmm.
our favorites, of course, is Layla Sin, who's been with us a couple times. And I like people from the industry to come on, and we don't always dwell, and we won't dwell on the industry too much. I want to
Mm-hmm.
know about you, but you have a very interesting background. I like intelligence, I like adventurous, I like people that are being entrepreneurially minded, and you fit all of these.
Yeah, I'm all over the place.
Well, yeah, but you're all over the place with a plan and a
In a good
mission.
way, yeah.
In a good
Yeah.
way. So you were born and raised in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
You started off as a model. Now, were you a model first or in the film doing scenes first?
No, actually, I started off doing scenes first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I went straight. I was actually working for Greenpeace, and then I went.
This is what I mean by interesting, folks. Okay, go ahead. Give it to us. Give it to us.
I was working for Greenpeace. I was an activist with Greenpeace for 2 years, and then a girlfriend of mine got picked up by an adult agent. And I was driving her to and from set because she didn't have a car. We were like 19 at the time, I think. And I got picked up by the director at Vivid, and so that was one of my first shoots was for Vivid.
Were you like right away, yes, I'll do it, or was it a thinking process?
I did think about it. I definitely weighed my pros and cons, which looking back at 19, I was like, wow, I'm pretty proud of myself for doing that.
Right.
Because everything else was like, yeah, I'll do it, whatever,
Yeah, adventurous.
Yeah, but I did kind of weigh the pros and cons, and I ultimately decided, let's try it out. If I don't like it, it's one time, big
Right.
deal. And I was so nervous my first scene, like I almost threw up in the makeup chair. I was so nervous. But after that day was over, I was hooked. I loved it.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So-
And then did the thoughts go through your mind when you first went in? You have a good relationship with your family? Your
I
parents?
do. Yeah.
So did that thought, what are my parents going to think? What are my friends going to think? Did that occur to you? Was that a big decision-making process?
It wasn't at the time. My parents are very conservative.
Mm-hmm.
My dad's Mormon. My mom was raised Scottish Catholic, so and they're still very conservative. And it took quite a while for them to come to terms with everything what that was going on. But I have a good head on my shoulders. I'm not a big partier, so I think that once they realize, like, okay, she's being safe about it,
Right.
they were kind of like, hey, you're an adult. We love you.
Do you think they've ever seen one of your films?
I hope not.
Yeah.
I hope not.
Now, in Greenpeace, were you ever in a situation in Greenpeace where you're on the boats with the whales and getting in front of the whale ships and stuff? Did you ever do something like that?
That's actually Sea Shepherd. So Sea Shepherd is like a sister company for Greenpeace. I was never on a boat. However, I did go up to Sacramento with a few other people, and I actually had Greenpeace give me a piece of paper that said, if you are working as an activist and you happen to get arrested, we're going to cover all of your legal fees and we'll bail you out of jail.
Really?
Which was really cool.
Yeah, sure.
But during my time with them, we did get Kimberly-Clark, which is like the makers of like Kleenex and Pampers, to pull out of the boreal forest in Canada. They were doing a lot of deforestation up there.
So your work paid off.
So it did.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool to be part of that.
Now, you've also, the humanitarian work you've done, you're an adventurer in the fact that, from what I was reading in your thing, you've backpacked and you studied the culture of more than 15 countries. So have you actually backpacked and traveled through all these 15 countries? And how much time did this take out of your life to do all this?
I have. I did it pretty sporadically. I mean, it was pretty spread out. It wasn't all at one time. But I backpacked through Southeast Asia, and I did Thailand, Laos, Vietnam, and Cambodia. And I did some humanitarian work in Cambodia and Laos.
I heard Vietnam's beautiful.
It's awesome. Yeah. Oh, my God. And then I did some work also throughout Europe. And I backpacked all through Italy, Scotland, Wales, Spain, down through the Mediterranean.
Nice.
I've been over to Budapest, France.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So.
Sheltered, ignorant American question here. Is Vietnam safe?
Vietnam was very safe.
Very safe. From everybody I talked to.
No,
Really?
yeah. And I did it all as a single woman. I was by myself. So I felt safer in like Vietnam, Cambodia than I did in Europe.
Wow.
Which
Really?
is so
That's
weird
a
to
huge
say.
statement.
It's
Yeah, because,
like,
yeah, that's interesting.
yeah, people completely leave you alone. And it might have something to do with the fact that I'm 6 feet tall. And like
Right.
everybody in
Could
Vietnam
have a little
is,
something
like,
to do with that,
5'2".
Yeah.
But yeah, people left me alone, which
Wow.
was great, and they were so nice and so gracious. So
When did you hit 6 feet tall? Like, have you been this way since high school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I think I hit 6 feet. I want to say beginning of my junior year of high school.
You're very
Yeah.
athletic. What were your sports? Of course, I'm not going to say basketball. What were your
No,
sports?
volleyball. I
Volleyball,
was
there you go.
big into
Yeah.
volleyball. And then when I got into college, I played volleyball and I rode crew.
Beach volleyball?
You know what? I never got into beach. I
Really?
was all indoor. Well, because I grew up up north of Los Angeles. So
Right, but you're in Huntington Beach now.
now I'm
That's
in
why
Huntington.
I said that, yeah.
Yeah, no. I started out doing court, and I kind of just stuck with court. I love court volleyball.
Yeah, I love watching
So-
volleyball in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Definitely.
The shorts definitely help.
Yeah. In high school, I actually used to watch games. I was wondering, was it because I dated one of the girls, or even when I wasn't dating, I was still watching?
It's
you
still
know?
fun to watch. No, I love it. It's a great sport.
Volleyball's a sport that, like, internationally is very popular,
It is.
but then in the States, like, everybody loves to play it, but it doesn't really carry over to a spectator sport
No.
for
It
whatever
really
reason.
does.
Except for
doesn't.
beach volleyball. Beach
Well,
volleyball,
yeah.
and then they'll build beaches like in Chicago, Illinois. They'll have beach volleyball,
Yeah.
competition and stuff. So that's relatively pretty
Right, but I
popular.
mean, there's sex appeal there, and for
Yeah.
whatever reason in American sports, sex appeal always has to be a thing,
It
right?
really does. But I also feel like volleyball is a sport where you really need to know the rules in order for it to be interesting.
kind of like watching water polo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you really need to know what's going on
Right.
for it to be interesting. If you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna turn this on just to see it, it doesn't work.
I think that's the same for, like, tennis. Like, a lot
Yeah.
of people don't understand tennis.
Yeah.
But tennis is, like, really fascinating.
I
if
love
you-
watching tennis.
Yeah,
Once you like
it's super
know
great.
what's
Yeah.
going on, yeah.
Hey, let me ask you this on the sporting tip of things. In combat sports and mixed martial arts, the women that compete, the more successful they are is, from a marketing standpoint, is based on how they handle themselves in social media. Is that the same in your business to a certain extent, in connecting with fans and getting them interested in you that way rather than your performance?
I would definitely say so. I mean, the performance definitely has a lot to do with it. That builds your fan base, but the way you interact with fans on social media is huge.
Right.
It really is. The way you present yourself is huge, and even being the deciding factor that companies want to hire you or not.
But also,
You know.
too, with what is your website?
AlisonTylerVIP.com.
AlisonTylerVIP.com. And that also feeds your website because you're talking to a qualified direct audience, a direct
Yes.
buyer.
Yeah.
And you do scenes for your website. Aside from the movies you do, as I understand it, you film specific scenes for your website.
I do, yeah. It's a member site.
You filming new scenes every week?
I try to do weekly.
And do you do that webcam stuff where people can see you live and you talk
I
to them?
do. So my members of my website get free webcam shows.
Wow,
So
lucky
that's-
guys
yeah,
and girls, I
so
guess.
There's a few girls.
Yeah.
So if you're a member of my website, that's one way that I try to stay personal with my fans and interact
Right.
with them. You know, I really try to take care of them and give them what they want because they've supported me for the last 8 years.
Well, I'd assume you need to do something like that for continuity purposes to continue their subscription membership, right?
Yeah,
You
want to keep
always
people
want
interested.
to. The term in business is you always want to keep them in the mix, which is called loading the pipeline. Not to make a joke, but loading the pipeline of business. No pun intended. Once you have the product, you want to keep loading it and loading it and
Exactly.
loading it to keep them coming back because you want to resell and reorder your customers or have your
Exactly.
customers reorder.
Yeah.
Now, aside from all the work you do in the adult film industry, your website, we go into another aspect of your life, and you got a lot of. It's only 7 days in a week here. Okay?
Busy
So
girl.
when you graduated college, you got into bodybuilding, and then of course hitting the gym and everything. But yoga is your passion, right?
Yeah. I mean, my first passion will always be weights. That's how I kind of discovered being an individual athlete outside of a team.
Right.
I've always been in team sports. So when I graduated and I got into bodybuilding, that was kind of where I threw my entire life, was in bodybuilding and nutrition. But that definitely posed some problems. I lost a lot of flexibility. I noticed that in the early years, my lifting was not what it should have been. My form was not great. And that's how I found yoga.
Right.
And now yoga has kind of, I mean, it's so beneficial in all aspects of my life.
But you're teaching yoga too, right?
I am, yes.
And where do you teach yoga?
I'm actually doing it private. I do private lessons.
And how does someone get a hold of you to do private lessons? Is it only in Huntington Beach, or have gun will travel?
Oh yeah, have gun will travel. I go all over the place. But they can contact me. My email is 6feetofsunshinefit@yahoo.com.
Give me that email again. What is that?
It's 6feetofsunshinefit@yahoo.com.
I like that email.
Yeah.
That works.
Yeah.
Now, the fact, okay, I have to ask this. Okay. You have people that see you in film. You have people that watch you on your website. You have people that find out that you do yoga, and you have people find out that you do private sessions. How many times do you come up against? What is the ratio of good, honest, I want to learn my yoga, to like you walk in and there's that dude waiting and saying, yeah, this could be so much more than yoga.
I mean, I always go into it. It depends on how people approach me. Some people will email me and they'll be very like, oh my God, I think you're so hot. Like, I want to learn yoga. I'm like, yeah, sure you do, dude. You know,
right.
Some people are genuinely like, hey, I have a sciatica issue, or hey, I have lower back problems, or, what are some things I can do? Can you help me? They come into it very honestly, and it is it's hard to navigate. It
Sure,
really
I would think
is.
So. You have to come up against something.
It's hard to
yeah.
navigate. So I stay very professional. I don't wear very revealing clothes when I go to teach. I keep it very professional.
You're a beautiful, curvaceous girl. It's kind of hard to hide that body.
It's very hard. Yeah.
Do you have people that come into it not knowing, like, one side of the business that you do to the other, and then
I do.
And
which
then what
is
happens
so
when they find out?
strange. I don't. If they find out, they don't tell me that they do. But I've had people that have stumbled upon my my nutrition and my wellness site, which is balancedbodieswellness.com. And I've actually had people email me off of there and come to me with my real name, which is is Courtney, which is on my website. And then they email me off of that, and they want me to, because I'm a personal trainer and nutritionist as well. So they want training and they want yoga, and they have no idea.
right?
None. And
Is it better for you to keep it separate like that?
for me, it is.
Yeah.
It is. If it's, I'm on a don't ask, don't tell basis.
Got
like
it.
if you don't ask me, I'm not going to talk about
But
it.
if they bring it up, you own it.
But I'm going to own it.
Right.
Yeah, I'm
So-
not embarrassed of it.
So, how much have you been offered for the nude yoga session?
I haven't been offered anything
Seriously?
for
Nobody's
that
ever
yet.
offered that to you?
No. But there are a couple of retreats, one in San Diego, that do nude yoga.
Mm-hmm.
And I've thought about, like, okay, well, maybe I can teach.
But that's when you think
there.
about that, people have to understand, I'm guessing, that it's totally non-sexual,
Yeah.
right? So it's
Have you
like
done
that.
yoga? I mean,
Yeah.
maybe for me, there's nothing sexual about yoga. Like, it hurts. I'm done.
Well, I will tell you that when I'm in a yoga class, I don't go into the front row. I always go in the back
I
row.
hang out in the back.
Like, I remember the first time I did yoga was actually at Johnny Hendricks' gym.
Really?
And I was like, oh, yoga, whatever. It won't be a big deal.
Yeah.
What was hot yoga? Okay.
Oh,
the
Bikram is
Bikram.
completely
So-
different.
Do you like
Yeah.
that? Do you like that?
I actually started out practicing Bikram.
I enjoyed it when I did
yeah.
it. Yeah.
It's hard.
I drank
It
2
is so
gallons of
hard.
water during that hour and a half
Yeah.
session.
It's very easy to do.
And I told you I'm working with a severed ACL and training to live without. And I can't wait to get back into yoga, but I need to just my strength is coming back really strong
Yeah.
now. I'm starting kicking, shadow boxing, doing all the stuff I love to do.
Nice.
I'm expanding, doing 360s and and
Awesome.
movements and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But I can't wait to get back into yoga because it's going to help me. Because my goal this summer is to get back into my beloved Pacific Ocean and start surfing again.
I never even thought about that. We haven't talked about your inability to surf with this.
Yeah, I can't. Right now, I'm strong enough to get in the water.
Sure, but it's pushing it, right?
Yeah, it could be pushing it, but I'm going to brace up.
Yeah?
I'm going to brace up. And then John McCarthy and I were talking about, because John's a waterman too. John played water polo like I did in school and when we were younger.
I didn't know you played water polo.
Oh, I was a good water polo.
That's
Really?
a tough
I
sport.
thought I told you.
No.
It's a great sport. I
That would explain your abs, honestly. Like,
Oh, no.
you don't build a better core other than playing like, yeah.
It's all even surfing. Every movement is a constant core movement.
Sure.
And I've always prided myself in having a strong core because I know how important it will be as I get older. But one quick story on water polo.
Yeah.
I was up for most valuable player in my
you.
top year in high school.
Nice.
I scored more goals than anybody.
Oh, that's
right?
awesome.
And the only problem was they used to take bets before the game what quarter I was going to be kicked out.
Oh.
Because I would be in the, when you're in the hole, again, no pun intended, you're in the hole and you're shuffling the ball, and I would always come around with the elbow, and I'd clock the guy, right?
On purpose?
On purpose.
Buffer.
Absolutely.
That's not
Tough
sportsmanlike.
sport. Well, I mean, if the guy came after me during the game,
Oh, sure.
and I knew it was that guy,
You're retaliating.
I'm retaliating.
Yeah, well, that's part of the game.
Tit
Yeah.
for tat.
Part of the game.
And
How many
one time-
noses did you break?
None that I know of. A couple bloody ones, but in the CIF finals,
Uh-huh.
right? They started letting girls play, and there was a strong girl like
Oh,
you,
wow.
and she was kicking everybody's butt. She was scoring goals a whole bit, and she kept grabbing me where she shouldn't grab me, and kicking me underneath the water. And one time, she just came at me again. And I said I'd had it. I kicked her right in the chest.
Oh, good.
And I mean, in a swim chest. I mean, I did it. I bounced off her, pushing off to swim.
Yeah.
But I made sure that my foot made contact
Yeah.
with her to push her away. Let's put it that way. Out CIF finals. My team was a little upset with me because,
Oh man.
Did they lose?
yeah.
Oh,
Buffer!
man.
Well, I mean, it's not like I would have won the game, but I mean, I was an
Most
asset to the
valuable
team.
player, you could have.
I didn't win. That's what prevented me from winning. But
All right.
I tell you?
Well, I mean, she kind of deserved it.
She did deserve it because I had scratches.
Yeah.
They used to check us for our nails, right? And I got out of the water. I had
Girls fight dirty.
Yeah.
They're
She was
dirty.
tough.
Yeah.
The way I look at it is, if you're going to be with the men and you're going to play with the men,
Yep.
then you got to be dealt
gotta
with
get
like a
in there.
man. I mean,
Exactly.
I didn't do anything rude. I just
So you said
tell
she
you.
was grabbing you where she shouldn't have been grabbing you. Where was
that's
she
a
grabbing
big
you?
trick. That's a big trick in water polo.
Really?
Yeah.
Even
Like-
for the guys,
It's happened.
sneaky.
Well, I mean, we saw
Well,
that.
they don't grab as much as they'll kick you,
Oh, okay.
right?
We saw the college football playoff this year between Clemson and Ohio State, and that guy was trying to check the other dude's oil. You remember that? Oh, it's all part of football. Did you see that?
I
Have you
didn't
seen
see
this?
that.
No.
Oh,
But this is
man.
going back-
I'll find it. It's crazy.
I graduated school in 1975. Maybe the rules have, changed a little bit
They've
since
changed.
then.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cameras out there now, so it's a little different. But
Underwater cameras.
yeah, exactly. But getting back to this now, the yoga class sounds great, and I'm going to get the okay to start doing yoga.
Okay.
And maybe I'll take you up on that.
Yeah.
Take you up on a class because I want to take some privates first.
Okay.
Because obviously I want to be careful of the ACL,
Mm-hmm.
some shoulder issues I have. And I think, a good private, and I got a gym at my house
Yeah.
that, I would love to
Go
do
at
that.
your own pace.
Yeah.
For sure. And I'm a very hands-on instructor. I like, and it
Yeah.
sounds so dirty, but I do a lot of adjustments and like 24-hour fitness, Equinox, they don't allow their instructors to touch their students, which I feel is
That's an insurance thing.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. But it's like, oh man, it sucks for the students, and they don't even know what they're missing out on.
I will sign that disclaimer for you so quick.
Okay, good.
No problem. So, everybody, for Alison Tyler, again, you can go to AlisonTylerVIP.com. Check it out. Email again. Let's have that email again.
It's 6 feet of sunshine fit.
6 feet of sunshine fit.
yahoo.com. Yeah.
All right, you ready for this? This is the oil check in question.
Oh,
here.
can you show me this on the video?
Yeah. Well, it's not on the video, unfortunately. That might be a copyright dispute. Where's my little thing?
There it is.
Right there.
What?
Oh,
Did you see that?
yeah.
Isn't that bad? And then that
Must have been a wrestler.
Well, that guy went on to say, like, oh, that happens all the time, and that's just part of the game. And when you're playing for big stakes, you expect that to sort of happen. And, like, I just want to know where the prostate results are because he's getting in there.
It wasn't even like an accident.
No,
like, he just went over there just to.
Yeah. Like, he owned it. He's like, yeah, that's what we do. That's
Hey,
what happens
homie,
out there.
I like your butt.
Well, this is not. I didn't give a disclaimer at the top of the show because this is not. We have a sex and relationship show with Sammy Phillips, who's our
Okay.
co-host, and we usually give a disclaimer. I didn't want to give a disclaimer today because we're going to talk about really top things. And
Buffer, you get like a PG-13 rating, like, at all times. People know this by now.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Now, here's a subject though that goes along with the industry a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it just came out. Obviously, let's talk about the STD issue.
Mm-hmm.
With California adopting the condom law for porno,
Mm-hmm.
Chatsworth is not. Is there any?
I thought that got overruled.
It did.
That's what I was
Yeah.
going to ask you. So it was overruled.
Yeah.
So filming's still going on. How often do you have? Well, how do they police the testing?
So basically, when I started out, so I've been in the industry for about 8 years, and when I first started out, we got tested every 30 days. And there's only 2 testing companies that you can go through.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't like just go to your doctor at Kaiser and get a test and then come. You can't do that. So we have talent testing and cutting edge testing, which are the only 2 places that you can go as a member of the adult industry and
Right.
get a test. So those tests then go into a database that everybody can look at. So performers, directors, producers, agents all have a sign-in and a password to go access that database. And back when I first started, you had to have a paper copy of your test, and you had to bring it to set. Otherwise, you couldn't work.
Well, what about like one of the STDs, such as herpes, the gift that keeps on giving? That disease can be shed.
Yeah.
Even when it's not active.
Yeah.
So if somebody tests and they are positive for the herpes virus, whether it's simplex 1 or simplex 2, and you see that on a co-star's note and you know that you have, you're going to do a scene, does
Yeah.
that bother you?
Well, you always have the option of opting out of anything.
Right.
Like if you see something that makes you uncomfortable in any way, shape, or form, if it's an odor, if it's like I shot one time and a girl had an ingrown hair, and we were doing a scissoring thing, and her ingrown hair got scratched and it started bleeding, and we stopped shooting.
Yeah.
And we reconvened 2 weeks later when it was gone.
Right.
So if there's anything that makes you...
You can stop.
You can stop it, for sure.
Well, the stat now is that more than 1 in 5 adults has the cancer-causing HPV virus.
Yeah.
1 in 5.
And what a lot of people don't know is that men carry it. Men carry it. They carry it. It's like a
Right.
ghost.
They carry
Well,
it
you know.
can cause cervical cancer.
Yeah.
And
That's
then-
the only kind of cancer, right? Like if you're a man and you have it, it's not going to cause testicular cancer or
No,
anything
no.
It
like
doesn't
that,
show
right?
up in
It's
men.
cervical
Right.
cancer. The women are they're like petri dishes.
Wait, so-
it's just crazy. But and then the other one is
It can cause warts.
yeah, right. The wart situation.
So
which is
the
very
warts
common.
can't show up on men, or they
No,
can?
I don't believe so.
No,
Really?
they show up in men.
Do they?
Because men have to have them taken off.
Oh,
I mean,
Well, that might
men
be a
are
different
responsible.
I think that's a different strain of wart. I don't believe that the human papilloma virus that is wart causing affects men.
but there is.
That you can carry it,
Yeah.
but I don't think you'll manifest warts if you are a male. But I don't
think,
know for sure.
I think it's almost a science now to have a lover or to even have a loving experience. You just got to check.
Yeah. You have to
know?
be careful.
Yeah,
And
you got to be careful.
I do a lot of guest speaking. Like next month, I'm going to be speaking down in Orange Coast College, which is my alma mater. It's where
Right.
I went. And I'm going to be doing that in their human sexuality course. And that's one thing that I always try to talk about is like when I was growing up and I was a teenager losing my virginity or young adult, it was embarrassing. Like I don't want to ask this guy if he's got STDs, but
Yeah.
You have to. Like, you have to just get past that awkward
I
conversation.
think we all have to be socially responsible.
You do, you know, and you have to make sure you're using protection, that you're taking care of yourself.
We preach put a helmet on that soldier all the time. On this
So-
radio.
You really do.
I was wrong. Some of the 30 or so types of HPV associated with genital cancers can lead to cancer of the anus or the penis in men. So
okay.
really?
everybody is affected. I didn't know
You
about
guys get your fair share.
Yeah. So I mean,
Wow.
again, it goes back to. I mean, you said women are a petri dish. Human beings are petri dishes.
In this day and age, it's true. I just had my physical last week.
Mm-hmm.
I went to a new doctor. Man, he had sausage fingers, which didn't make me very happy. But when they do the blood tests, like do the whole panel. But I was like going, Oklahoma, when that time came. Thank God I didn't really like it. Another thing is Kim Kardashian, one of her most lucrative deals ever, right, is her sex tape.
Mm-hmm.
Conveniently learned and practiced by Paris Hilton for her to release it 2 weeks before her,
Yeah.
TV show came out.
Yeah.
So,
Coincidence, Buffer. What
coincidence,
do you say?
yeah. The video has become a centerpiece of modern day culture. It basically did make her famous.
Yeah.
Right? And it also made her very rich. So it was called Kim Kardashian Superstar. She publicly lashed out at Ray J, who seemed to be behind the release, but she signed on for the release and made a staggering amount of money. It's had 210 million views, right? That's for online DVD and Vivid TV. And the tape, at one point, someone watched that tape every 1.5 seconds.
Isn't that insane?
It's insane. So there were spikes over the last decade to watch the tape again when she married Chris Humphries, when she divorced Chris Humphries, when she started dating Kanye, the Paris robbery. So basically, they think that the tape to date has raked in north of $100 million.
Wow. That's crazy.
The thing that always... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like, obviously, how many people have watched that? And
I
how
haven't.
Many,
I haven't.
I haven't either.
Really?
Like, I kind of want to.
Good
but
on both of you. I did a bit of show prep. So,
I wanted to see Paris Hilton's, but I heard it was like watching paint dry. It's like,
Yeah, I've heard that there's a few that aren't very good.
I haven't seen Paris's. Isn't it like a night vision? Isn't
Yeah,
it
it's like that green night vision thing.
Like,
I used to play poker with Rick Solomon, the guy she did the video
Sure.
with, who made that guy played high stakes poker.
wonder where I get all the money from.
What do you think?
Yeah. I'm curious, though. Like, obviously, you go out in public, people see you, people recognize you. Is it weird walking around, just going about your day, and someone kind of gives you like a crooked smile a little bit?
That's actually really funny because I posted this on my Instagram yesterday. So I went to the grocery store and I had been like housewifing it all day. So I'd been like cleaning and running my errands and I had no makeup on. My hair was in a bun and I had like my old man flip-flops on.
Right. God forbid you be a normal person.
Yeah, right? So I go out to the grocery store and it's the one time I'm at the grocery store and someone recognized me. I'm like,
Really?
God,
The
never
one
when I'm
time?
cute.
Really?
Never when I'm cute.
Well, this is what I
But
think.
you're cute 24 hours a
thank
day.
you.
I think you should take that as a compliment because whenever you're not cute, you're still recognizable, right?
Well,
you know what I mean?
and this is the thing. So he recognized me, and like we both knew what was going on, but he didn't straight out come and say it.
Right.
He was just like, you look like this girl. He's like, her name's Alison Tyler, and I was like, oh, what does she do? And he's like, oh, she's a model. Have you heard? I was like, I've never heard of her. And he's like, really? And I was like, no, I don't know who that is.
Oh, you played stupid.
Yeah, because I'm like, what am I gonna say? That's me? Like, oh, that's me. Like,
Played dumb. Excuse me. I hate that word stupid.
yeah, I just like, but
so
it made me
you didn't
laugh.
clue him in? Did you make him like
No.
question himself? So he
Yeah.
basically was like, "Oh man, am I wrong?"
You know,
I
it's
really love to fuck with people.
it's funny.
I love
No
it.
pun intended. So it's funny. In my own, little niche world, is like I'll call up on the 800 number to get something done on my credit card or to order something, and they go, "Is this Bruce
They're like,
Buffer?"
no
Right.
way.
Yeah, and they start going
How
crazy.
many Bruce Buffers are there in the world? Like, serious, that's a very unique.
How do you
name.
think I discovered Michael Buffer?
Exactly.
Because Buffers are not around. It's
Yeah.
just not there.
I've never met another Buffer. I've only met a handful of other Bruces, honestly.
Oh, there's a lot of Bruces.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
no offense, Buffer, they're going away. Like that's the name of older generation.
Well, it's a proud name I have. It's actually Scottish, meaning strong and honest, which I pride myself on being.
For sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, honesty. That's why I play poker, because I can
Okay.
lie at the poker table. If I
Interesting.
say something, it's word. I don't lie. I will not sit here and try to remember lies. I don't lie to women I date. I don't lie, period.
So
I'd
I'm
rather
very-
not say anything,
I like
So
that.
why I'm very careful in asking you for your honest opinion on things.
because I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
I will give it to you. So a few other stories here, because we're going to bounce out in about 10 minutes. I want to share these with you. We all heard the horrible story that occurred with the United Airlines flight this week with Dr. David Dow. Now they're bringing up dirt on him. You know that he was arrested years ago for trading painkillers
Yeah.
for sex.
I read that.
And he lost his license.
Yeah.
The great John Kiefer here. Crave would not be anywhere without John Kiefer. John, we're on video. Say hi to the world.
Yeah, they can see you right now. Yeah, it's terrifying, right?
They're all watching you.
How are you?
So with the situation, and then he's also a poker player. He actually played the World Series of Poker. He
I didn't know that.
made second in a big tournament, made like $100,000+ in
Interesting.
that. Bottom line, I don't care what he did before.
No.
What happened has nothing to do with what was done before.
Exactly.
So now they're trying to, bring out all this stuff.
Defamation of character.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how this thing unravels. It's probably one of the most popular stories I've seen in the news, of all stories in the news. They're just playing the heck out of it.
Yeah.
I had a horrific time this weekend. My flights to Buffalo were changed or canceled. Co-pilot's not showing up. Flight attendant, one flight attendant less. I had to stay over in New York after the show on Sunday, fly back on American Airlines, one of my favorite airlines, in the morning. It's just been a horrific week of travel. I'm praying to God that it goes away by Friday when I go to Kansas City, because I don't arrive until midnight. I don't want any delays on that flight.
Kansas City's a great airport, by the way.
It's been years since I've been there.
I spent a lot of time in Kansas City the last couple of years, and I love it. It's probably my favorite city in the country, honestly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I know the food's great.
I'm from the Midwest, so you know what I mean. Like I obviously enjoy the Midwest, but
You're biased.
I'm actually going to have. I was on John Orlando and Jake Ellenberger's podcast last night. John Orlando was the son of Tony Orlando, if you remember from the past, Tony Orlando and Don, who's a huge UFC fan. And we're all planning on going out to dinner after the show. And I will tell you, I'm not a steak eater anymore. I don't eat a lot of meat. I very rarely eat meat. I eat bison meat and stuff. But I'm going to have a big steak. Kansas City is known for its meat, right?
barbecue.
I'm not big on barbecue sauce. I like.
No, they have a lot of dry rubs.
That's what I
that
want
you
to
can
try.
eat.
That's good stuff.
I strongly suggest you check out a place called Jack Stacks.
I'll make a note of that. I'll mention it to them. Hopefully, they'll stay up late for us.
Well, that's the thing. You ask 5 different people the best barbecue in Kansas City, you'll get 5 different answers, and none of them will be wrong.
That's like
either.
asking for barbecue in Texas.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you're always going to get different answers. Another story I hate this, and there's not really much comment, but Congress just made it officially legal to kill hibernating bears, sleeping wolf cubs in Alaska, even from a helicopter,
So
with
sad.
machine guns, whatever the case might be. I understand thinning the herd and all that. Is it technically hunting if your prey is sleeping,
No.
TJ?
I mean, you have to hunt them down, quote unquote. But like, I'm sorry.
You feel like a man shooting a sleeping animal?
I wouldn't feel like a man. I mean, shooting an animal doesn't make me feel like a man, and I've hunted my entire life.
Yeah,
okay?
no, that's why I'm asking. 'Cause, I'm not a hunter.
Yeah, like
I'll shoot a man in a heartbeat. You come
hunting-
through my window, but I'm not a hunter.
I know.
I won't
could
kill
never
Bambi.
shoot an animal.
Yeah, like
No way.
hunting.
shoot Bambi.
Hunting to me was a way to spend time with my father, and it was a way to, get food. You know, we harvested meat from
But
time
again,
to time.
the question, sleeping.
No, I've never shot a sleeping duck. You know what I mean? And I probably couldn't.
John? No.
I'm just wondering, I'm surprised TJ's ever felt like a man before.
Oh, whoa, TJ.
Every time I stand next to you, I feel like a real man. So thank you for letting me feel that.
All right, now tell me if you think you're surprised by this. Remember the Jersey Shore show?
Yeah.
Mike, the situation. Situation.
The situation. That was a really good.
He's in a heap of trouble. He made millions of dollars. Now, remember, I used to talk about this back when the show was popular. I said, watch this. Watch what happens, how they handle themselves after they've made all this money.
He didn't pay his taxes.
He didn't pay his taxes.
Of course he didn't.
He didn't pay his taxes.
Of
course he did.
Well, I mean, I'm sure he paid some, but right now he and his brother are facing criminal charges, right? They claim that he made $8.9 million between 2010 and 2 years. He made $8.9 million between 2010 and 2012. He filed false income tax returns, made fraudulent deductions. He was originally charged with other tax offenses. He faces decades in prison now.
Ooh.
He won't go
Decades.
to prison. He won't go to prison for decades.
I hope he invested
Wesley
his
Snipes went to
money.
prison. Why won't he go to prison?
Because
Wesley Snipes went to prison. Why won't he
but
go to prison?
Here's the thing: reality stars, for whatever reason,
Don't tell me they have clout.
No,
please.
but they do.
I'm gonna throw
Unfortunately,
up.
reality stars will always be able to go and make money. And if they can't always make money, there's a small window, and the government wants to get their money. And him sitting in jail is going to cost the government money.
Where
so
is
you watch
Okay,
Vegas?
okay, I'm with you, but here's the thing: he's going to go to jail because unless I'm just perceiving this. This is my perception of the reality of the situation. How's that? Right?
Nice,
Pretty good.
This is a situation for the situation. He's not making this kind of money now. How is he going to pay the government this
No,
kind
but
of money?
again, is $5 better than $0? Is $50,000 better than $0?
Okay, I'll do a guess.
Not even that. Is $5 better than paying for him to eat in prison? Yes.
Understand the correlation. I think if Wesley Snipes went to jail, which was for $5 million, if I'm not incorrect, in taxes owed or not paid, then why won't he? I'm not saying I want him to go to jail. Please understand, folks. I'm not saying that. I'm looking at the situation.
Well, let's bring it back to MMA. Monty Cox went to jail. He
He
went to prison. You're
He went to
probably
prison?
right.
Yeah.
I could see him going to jail, possibly not for
not decades.
Not
No.
yet. I think they would give him like a short sentence as like a slap on the hand.
Yeah.
Like, hey, look, we made, like, don't do this type thing. But I don't think he would go for decades.
Well, I also want to give the A-hole of the week award. We have some.
John Kiefer. That's why you're here.
Oh, jeez, listen to that. The A-hole of the week
not
award.
A man ever again.
How am I with fans? How am I when fans ask me to do things? I sign
you
every
bend over
every
backwards.
picture.
Yeah.
Never forget where you came from. Treat the fans with respect. We would not be here if it wasn't for the great fans of MMA. I would not be here in the position I'm in if it wasn't for the great fans of MMA, nor the UFC as successful as it is. The A-hole of the week award goes to Marshawn Lynch.
Uh-oh.
Did you hear what happened?
No.
An 18-year-old kid and his brother outside the airport when he lands. He's out there on the curb.
TMZ.
And they're taking, yes, TMZ got it. And they're taking video of him and, talking to him. He walks over to him, slaps the phone out of the kid's hand. Boom, it's on video. Slaps out his hand, walks in, then walks out, turns around him and spits on the floor in his place at him.
What?
Marshawn Lynch,
Yummy juice.
A-hole of the week award.
What bothered me, John's
Marshawn
right.
Lynch.
We had the same sort of tempo and pitch on that. Uh-oh.
For those of you who don't
That's
know,
horrible.
he's a former NFL player, played for the NFL for the Buffalo Bills, Seattle Seahawks.
Beast mode, right? Is that
Super
beast
Bowl
mode?
winner.
Is Marshawn Lynch just beast mode, right? Yeah, apparently he's dickhead mode now.
That's really
there's no
shitty.
excuse for that. John, is there any excuse for that? None.
That's really,
None.
really shitty.
Sorry. Yeah. Don't ever forget where you came from.
Yeah.
Well, what's funny is I think he does a lot of charity work and stuff.
Doesn't make any difference.
No,
He's
I
an
know.
a-hole now.
I mean, here's the problem, though, and keep this in mind. You can be a very rich and famous, caring celebrity who does everything in your power to be the nicest person possible. But if you meet someone and you're around them for 30 seconds, and that's the worst 30 seconds of your life, they're going to hate you forever. And worse off than that, there's cameras and there's TMZ,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden that can make you from this very giving member of the community to living in infamy forever. So
Maybe he sat next to someone that was really smelly on the plane. You never know.
yeah, I mean,
Maybe his bags got lost.
Bottom line is I think we need to err on the side of letting the whole timeline of you being a celebrity dictate your character. It could have been a moment of weakness, but there really is no excuse for that.
I hate the word celebrity.
Yeah.
When I say I hate it, it's because it's so misused today.
Yeah.
Celebrities were a position of talent in the past. Now it's all about being famous for being famous and not necessarily for your talent. I'm also learning to hate the name TJ. Can I tell you why?
No.
Yeah, I'm learning to hate it. I got to
What's
tell you
going
what.
on?
My iPhone.
Hey, real quick, before you get rid of that A-hole of the week award, we got another candidate.
My
Continue.
iPhone. I text as we all text a lot. I don't know what happened. Every time I write, I'm going to the movies, I'm going to the gym, the word to is spell checked correctly as capital T and J.
I'm always on your mind.
Every time I write, it's like, I'm going to the movie. It says, I'm going TJ capital to movie. It's like, and I got to go back and correct it. Somebody tell me how to fix my
Your
iPhone.
phone's like,
TJ, I love you like a brother, but
Right.
this is driving me out of my
Well,
mind.
you need to delete the modifications that I made to your cell phone when you weren't looking.
Oh, was that it? Mm-hmm. No way.
Yeah.
Did you really?
No.
Did you?
By the way.
Can you do it?
Yeah.
Thanks. I got to learn how to do this. I'm going to call you later.
I'm happy
John.
the microphone didn't pick that up all that well, so thank you. See you later.
Bye,
It's
John.
great seeing you.
So now, last but not least,
I got one more thing before you bail, too, so before you start pitching
Sure.
it out of here.
President Trump, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything going on. There could be a whole other topic of conversation. He is on pace in the first year of his presidency to surpass the travel spending of Obama in 8 years.
Mar-a-Lago, right?
Yeah.
8
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Where I think Obama had 12 security personnel. He has 20, the family,
Yep.
the helicopters. I just think this is absolutely absurd.
I mean, how many nights has he spent in the White House?
I can't answer that.
It really is absurd.
It's
you know,
absurd.
and wasn't he the one that said during his campaign he was going to be so busy that he wasn't going to have time to golf?
Said a lot of things.
This is the bottom line. Like,
you know,
don't say things about what you're going to do and what you're not going to do
Say
until you're in that position.
Yeah.
And I'm not a Trump supporter. I will say that very adamantly here. I'm not a Trump supporter. But maybe this is the only way that he can deal with the pressure, too. Like, being the president of the United States is a very, very serious job.
Very stressful.
And also, we're, like, closer to World War III than we've ever been now with Russia. By the way, I'm going to Kazakhstan next week. Not super stoked.
Not super excited, but do you know that this is the first time in U.S. history since World War II that the U.S. is facing more hot points of opposition around the world? There are more hot points of serious, threatening opposition to the United States than since World War II.
Right,
What does that
terrifying.
dictate? That's terrifying.
And what scares me is, like, I'm saying I'm going to Kazakhstan. It has nothing to do with, like, the people of Kazakhstan or anything. I'm just uncomfortable traveling internationally right now because I reek of Americana.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
you're an American.
Yeah.
No question, you do look like an American, and I mean
Whatever.
that with all
it's
respect.
fine, you know? Like, when I had hair and I was a little bit more olive complexion, the DeSantis stuck out a lot more. But, no, it's not good.
Last 2 quick points. I was watching a movie. I want to suggest to everybody when you get a chance to see it, it's starring Michael Keaton and it's titled Founder. And it's the story about Ray Kroc, who founded McDonald's.
Oh.
And, or did he?
I heard about this, yeah.
And it's an excellent movie. Michael Keaton, one of my favorite actors. I used to watch him do stand-up comedy in the 70s before he ever became an actor. And my other note is that I've talked about my prize, one of my prize collectibles, my 1954 Mickey Mantle card, PSA graded 7. I mentioned on the show a few months ago that it just sold for $1,600. I paid $400 for it some 20 years ago. And now it just sold again for $1,948, which means that just in a few months it's gone up another 18%.
Wow.
I'm going to tell you again and again and again. Wax packs, cards, pre-1970, PSA graded, they're gold bricks, proof in the pudding right there. What did you want to talk about?
So on the movie front, I'm behind on television. I don't get to watch TV as well as I want to. Have you seen Billions?
Well, yeah, recently.
Yeah, you've seen. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I was blown away.
So I didn't know about it. I was watching it last week, and I was going to call you and be like, "Oh my God, Bruce!" But I was like, "Okay, I'm super behind." So how about that? You had to love it. People know what we're talking about by
That's
now,
pretty
right?
I actually have the video. I could play it for us, but you know,
No. Throw it up. Why not? We'll see. We'll see if we get sued.
here, talk to Alison while I get it.
I'll see if we can.
Hi, Alison. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
That's pretty awesome, though.
It's pretty. You know what was amazing is because my Twitter's going off, my phone's ringing, I'm getting emails. It's like,
You're
what's
like,
going on
"What's
here?
going on?" Yeah.
And they're all like, hey, what a shout out! You know, great shout out. I go, what are you talking about?
Like, I didn't do anything. I'm sitting here on my
Yeah.
couch. What's happening?
You know, and I don't know the writers. I don't know what's going on over there. So if I play this into the mic, will it?
Yeah. You're gonna have to just kind of hold it in front of the camera, and then.
And so now, as the great Bruce Buffer says, it's time.
All right. So
Hoa.
I'm gonna say 10 out of 10 on the flattery scale.
Big time.
About a 3 out of 10 on the delivery.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, he could have been
You know?
better at the delivery.
I mean, like, you don't go, it's time.
You know what?
It's time.
Not bad,
How about
TJ.
it?
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Don't sue me.
No, I would never do that. And I'm not going to sue them because it's an honorarium.
Right, yeah.
And I'm flattered, and I just.
Would you have a case?
No,
Honestly, no?
because it's not used for promotion of the show. And they mentioned
Just got
me.
itself promotion right now.
Yeah, but that was like that's like hundreds of thousands of free promo, not just for me, but for
No,
the
I hear
UFC.
you.
You know,
I hear you.
it's just it goes to show. Forget about what it means for me. The UFC is taking hold everywhere. Everybody's noticing it. Everybody's watching
noticed
it
that.
into a
It's
large
yeah.
degree. It's mainstream. I mean,
Yeah.
that is another example how mainstream UFC is getting.
You know, it's got to be flattering.
It's so flattering. Are you kidding?
Not even just that.
I
but
blushed for an hour.
You can go online and type in Bruce Buffer impersonation, and they're all over YouTube.
I've never done that.
Oh, they're everywhere. They're everywhere.
Oh, that's got to be fun.
Well,
Yeah.
there's a couple hours I'll be spending later.
Like
That
on.
gotta be
there's
fun.
I should send you Oliver's because Oliver does it all the time.
Do that, please. Oh, you know what? That's what I do get. Parents send me their 5-year-olds, their
Really?
3-year-olds, their dogs barking every time. My dog goes like this every time I play. They'll play it, and the dog go. "Arr!"
That's pretty cool.
You know, now whether that means I'm hurting his ears or not, I don't know. But it's all very flattering, and you know, look, I love my job, and
People do that for me too. It's not as flattering though.
In what way? What are they?
People send me stuff like, oh yeah, well look, we're gonna mimic this scene.
Oh,
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow, that's.
All right, where's our music?
I'm not going to say anything.
Where's our
Yeah. Sorry, I got thrown.
Usually
off
you're the one that says it. I got to say it.
What do you want from me?
All right, listen, just a joy having you on.
Yes,
I really
thank you for
appreciate
having
it.
me.
I'm probably going to take you up. I'm telling you, on the
Yeah,
yoga. Will you
for
drive up
sure.
to my neck of the woods?
I definitely will.
That's okay, great. I live at the beach over
Definitely
here, so
will. Okay, no problem.
very cool. Thanks so much for being on the
Yeah,
show.
thank you for
sincerely.
having me.
One more time, tell us how we can get a hold of you.
AlisonTylerVAP.com or BalancedBodiesWellness.com, and that has my email and everything on it.
Wonderful.
So.
Complete pleasure. And all the success, much success.
Thank you very much.
Stay safe and keep being adventurous and going after everything.
I plan to.
If you look at entrepreneur, I like to think my name is right there in the definition in the dictionary.
right.
So I really respect and appreciate, and we have entrepreneurs on the show, and that's what I consider you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sincerely. All right, everybody, thank you for tuning in. TJ, is always a pleasure. I'll see you next week. We'll be back with another exciting guest. Treat everybody around you with respect. Be a sphere of influence, be a role model to your sphere of influence, everybody. Be honest, be strong, set your goals, write them down, go for them, achieve them. Life is about winning because it's always time to win. Be the best you can be on the path you choose. Stand tall, be proud, be honest. Buffer out.
The preceding podcast was a TJ DeSantis production. Comments, questions, and inquiries can be directed to DeSantisProd@gmail.com.